This podcast was originally live-streamed on the Non Sequitur Show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/nonsequitorshow. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsexshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter @nonsexshow or facebook.com/nonsexshow. That's NONSEQ show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of Non Sequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/nonsequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sequitur. I'm Kyle. I'm joined by the lovely Casey and Steve, as always. Hello, guys.
Hi,
the
y'all.
Lovely Steve as well.
Yes, Steve is lovely. We tonight have Ron Miscavige joining us, and we are so excited to talk to him. He's already having us crack up before the interview even begins. So tonight's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to, I think, learn a lot from this guy. He seems like a really great guy, and we are excited to have him. And we'll get to Ron in just 1 second. First, I wanted to start out tonight by saying thank you to our patrons that support us. We couldn't do the show without you guys. If you aren't a patron and you want to consider becoming one, some of the benefits that you get are we do a private bi-weekly hangout on Saturdays at 4. You get direct access to me and Steve on Discord through the channel. You can, we have the option of doing what we call backstage hangouts, where you come on before the show if you see that a guest's coming up that you really like. And you can hang out with us on the call before the show. And then when the show starts, we'll say goodbye. You can also host your own show, host after shows on your channel. And Steve and I will do any kind of collaboration. I think those are just some of the things that come along with it. Also, one of the things is a private show every month, and this month is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be at 4:00. So you get you'll be the only people that get to see that particular episode, and it's going to be at 4:00 on Saturday. Also, they'll be presenting the Golden Nuns, which is on November the 25th. It's our kind of like the Academy Awards. You can go and vote if you haven't already by visiting tinyurl.com/goldennuns. But our patrons will be the people who actually give the speech and the award to the winners at the Golden Nuns. Following after the stream, Cyrus the Skeptic is having a stream. He's doing a new podcast. Tonight's the first version of that, and it's going to be at 9:30 on Cyrus's channel. So make sure that when you get done here, you head over there and watch what he's doing. Okay, before we begin, on the screen right now, you see Ron Miscavige's book, Ruthless. I urge everyone to get this book. It is incredible. You can get it at Amazon. The link for that is in the description of this video, along with Ron's website, realronmiscavige.com. That he interviews without interruption, so you get to hear the entire story and not what some producer or somebody else picked out for you to hear. And without further ado, let's say hello to the man of the hour, Ron Miscavige.
And hello to all of you.
There we are. There's Ron.
Yay!
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
We were talking about. It's my pleasure to be here, Kyle. I enjoy coming out and adding to what I can to the information about the Church of Scientology and their abuse of tactics and policies. So here we are. We can roll, right?
Absolutely. Before we get into the Scientology part, I'm fascinated by your love for music and what you do musically. So can you kind of give everybody an introduction about what you do in terms of that, like how often you're touring, where they can see you, that sort of thing?
Well, okay. I don't do tours these days, but I started playing professionally when I was 13 years old. And I've been playing professionally my whole life. I'm 82 now. Don't look a day over 81, I don't mind saying. And
Not at all.
I play in many local I play in many local clubs here. I play in about 3 different Dixieland bands. I do solo performances, and I give an occasional lesson. I can teach you music theory and harmony. Mostly when I give a lesson, it's the more experienced players, and it's a lesson on improvisation. Other than that, mostly what I do, and I enjoy it very much, is just playing music for just regular people. I'd rather play in a bar than I would on a stage. I like the interplay that you get right from the folks right there. And my favorite music actually is Dixieland. And of course, that's getting to be a dying art. When I say that, I mean that really. I mean, the guys who are dying know how to play it, but I want to keep it alive because I think it's very happy, upbeat music. And that's what I do mostly. As a matter of fact, I play 6 days a week, sometimes twice in one day.
That's incredible. For somebody that's 82, I mean, you don't. To me, I would have never guessed that you were 82 until you said that. It would have never crossed my mind.
The live chat's saying
Well,
I look like the oldest one here. So I'm the elder at the moment here. So there you go.
Listen, I'll tell you another thing, and you gotta realize this. Everybody's going to get old, okay? You want to keep your energy level up, your feelings about life up. You got to exercise, okay? And this is what I do. I work out about 6 days a week. So there's a little bit for you. And I'm a United States Marine veteran, and I go to the local hospital for my health care. And I can tell you, a lot of guys my age who don't work out, they look like shit, okay? And they're pushing their bodies around like a back. No, they do. And the guys that work out, you can tell they're vibrant. There's a nice spring to their step. They're more upbeat. They have a more positive outlook on life. I think exercise is the magic pill. It doesn't cost anything, and if I could show you guys a whole workout, you don't even need any equipment, and you could stay in shape just doing this little workout I would show you. Anyway, look, I'm not a fitness guru, so I don't want to spend the time doing that. But there's a little background on music and that. And the other thing that I enjoy mostly is this. Not getting interviewed, although I appreciate you getting me on because now I'm speaking to a different audience other than my own.
Sure.
I enjoy interviewing people and letting them tell their whole story. Before the show went on, I mentioned to you, Kyle, that when I did 2020, Dan Harris interviewed me for over 6 hours in Philadelphia and over 2 hours here in Milwaukee. That's over 8 hours. If I was on that screen for 16 or 17 minutes, that's it. And they took little sound bites and they made me say or portrayed me as saying what they wanted to hear, their audience to hear. And it wasn't what I wanted to say at all. So I never got the story out. And to be honest with you, that really pissed me because that's a lot of time to sit in a chair, with the heat of the lights on. And you're being fucking questioned, but it's an interview.
Right.
So I vowed that I would do something about it. And fortunately, I met up with my manager, Sean Fresek, who I could tell you the guy's a diamond as far as a manager and a producer for me. And he set it up. So I got my own podcast now. And again, by the way, it is therealronmiscavige.com, not just ronmiscavige.com. I say that because Church of Scientology, in their graciousness, bought over 500 iterations of my name, so that if you go to anything except therealronmiscavige.com, you'll go to their hate site. And if you want to watch their hate site, I should have been shot a week ago. Truthfully, I don't give a shit what they say, so I'm going to keep on going. But that's how you get onto my site. Then you can watch other people being interviewed by me, telling their whole story.
Well, on the website, when the domains that they bought, if somebody made a mistake and went to that one of those websites, what comes up? Like, what are they putting out on the ones that they bought?
Well, I think one of the things is I'm a failure as a musician. I'm only working 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, which is more than most musicians work here in Milwaukee. I'm a failure as a musician. I was never good at anything I ever did. Up your shit about me, the worst thing you can, and they bring it out as if it's the truth. Look,
gotcha.
These people are lowlifes, and I say that graciously. Okay, I hope they don't take it personally, but they're actually a bunch of lowlifes. All right, and what they do to people once they get you hooked, and we can get into this as this interview goes on, and it's very, very clever. I can give you exactly the modus operandi of how you get hooked in. And you actually build your own mental prison. And that's tough because you're fighting yourself after a while. And it's all engineered by them so that you think what you're doing in Scientology is helping every man, woman, and child on this planet.
We actually had Derek, who used to be a Scientologist, on a couple months ago, and then Chris Shelton on last week. And the theme that kind of ran through both of those interviews, and in terms of the harm, is when it comes to, they try to paint Scientology as a goodwill ambassador to the planet. Like, you have a mission, and your mission is to better the world at any cost. So I guess that would be a good segue into your story. And why don't you kind of tell us how you got into Scientology yourself?
Okay.
And then what went along with that in your journey.
Okay. And by the way, what you're saying is absolutely true. And Chris Shelton is a very sharp guy, and he nails this down. But that comes later on in the game. Let's get to the beginning here. First of all, I was born and raised in a little town in Pennsylvania, a little coal mining town called Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania. This was a town where, like old school, if you didn't work, you didn't eat. You know, that was the moral code. The miners would come home every week. On Friday, they go to a saloon across the street from mine. They get drunk, get in a fist fight, and then apologize, buy the guy a beer, go to bed and wake up the next day, and then next week do the same thing over and over. So it was a little bit of a rough and tumble town, and you got to learn street smarts there. You know what I mean by street smarts?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So, and also the work ethic was instilled in you there. So I grew up, I'm getting out of high school now, and I wanted to study music, and my old man wanted me to study business. I met a Marine recruiter, and whatever reason, it rang a bell. I joined the Marines. I was 17 years old. He had a sign for me. Matter of fact, he didn't want to sign because he says, Ronnie, the Marines are the first ones in. Are you sure you want to do it? And for whatever reason, I said, yeah, I really do. So he signed for me. First day in boot camp, I said, this is the worst fucking mistake I've ever made in my life. Believe me, if you ever saw Full Metal Jacket, that's what it's like.
All right? Shit, that's an intense movie.
12 weeks later, I said to myself, I can make myself do anything. It changed me from a non-disciplined civilian into a disciplined Marine, and that has served me well my entire life. I bring that up for a point, and you'll see as I develop this why I say that. Okay, so I got out of the Marines, got married, start raising kids. When David, that's my son who runs the church, when David was born, and he has a twin sister, Denise, there's this a beautiful little kid, has asthma, starting life. Now, if you want to see something pitiful, look at a baby struggling to get air. I mean, it just tore my heart apart. And most of his little kidhood was spent with me taking him to different places to try to get help for this, because one of the things I would do is I'd take him to a Dr. Ziegler. We were living in New Jersey at the time when I was raising my family. I would take him to a Dr. Ziegler, and he'd give